world. So, so what I'm saying is, big companies don't move fast. So this is the opportunity for entrepreneurs. Same with messaging, right? BlackBerry, which is another startup company out of Canada, they really redefined the whole messaging. And who owned the messaging? Messaging was owned by Microsoft. It was owned by IBM Lotus, right? The Outlook mail that we all use, that's what messaging is. And Microsoft dominates that market. So ideally, they should have come up with it. I mean, now they are coming up with it, but it's too late, right? Same thing, Salesforce. All of you know Salesforce, right?
Yeah.
Salesforce is something that is in the backyard of someone like an Oracle, someone like an SAP. But they didn't do it. So some young entrepreneurs actually solved that problem. And they became the #1 player. Right? Amazon, Oracle is trying to chase these guys. So in the storage and compute, right, Amazon, although it's not a startup company, but storage and compute is owned by who? It's owned by HP, it's owned by EMC. Those are the guys who should have done this whole storage compute. But it's Amazon, a company that was selling books, a company that was selling CDs, came up with this whole Amazon Web Services, EC2. Yes, sir.
Postage services, I mean, where Exodus was, it probably could have been poised to do this.
Absolutely.
Why did Exodus collapse, was my question. Because immediately after Exodus, we could see Rackspace come into picture.
Correct.
So it's not like postage service went out of fashion.
Correct. Absolutely, you're spot on. Yeah, you're spot.
And then it led to this situation. So why did Exodus?
Correct. So no, this was the greatest learning that we went through. So what happened at Exodus was the growth that we were experiencing. We, as entrepreneurs, we had never experienced that kind of a growth. So we had to bring somebody whom we thought was credible in the market, and somebody that the customers actually recognize. So we ended up getting someone from IBM to come and head the company. And unfortunately, many financial related decisions that were done incorrectly, because the company ended up taking $3.5 billion of bond loan, for which the company was paying 8.59% of interest, which is almost $250 million to $300 million just on interest. So at the same time, company was also losing money. And we as founders, both of us left by middle of 2000, right? Because we were more startup people. I mean, that's what we enjoyed. And as the company was 4,000, 5,000, we did not have the skills to take the company to the next level. Because it's a very hard thing when the company is growing at an exponential pace. Had it grown more in a normal pace, perhaps maybe we could have learned a lot of those skills. But the company was going at a very, very exponential pace. So you needed somebody we thought could help us to bring the necessary operational expertise, the necessary marketing expertise, the necessary product expertise, right? So that's the mistake we made. I don't know if I would say it's a mistake, but you're spot on. I mean, all of these things, we actually had it back in 99, 2000 itself. We absolutely had the first version of the cloud services was what Exodus actually came up with. Yeah, I feel so miserable at times because it's hard to produce a strong infrastructure company that could have stayed forever, right? And the Rackspace or the Equinix or all of these guys, today they are like high-flying companies. And technologically, we were 10 times more advanced than any of those companies. But such is life, right?
But there's a catch in that if you try to be very creative, the technology can cannibalize your existing product and revenue
It
also.
will always happen.
I mean,
Technology will always
9K is cannibalizing 7K, 7K is cannibalizing the 5.
That's why I said, I gave this orbit thing.
Yeah.
So companies have to be constantly thinking how you move from one orbit to the other orbit. If the companies that don't think, if you think of Google as an example, Google is constantly thinking, what do I do? That's why they have these programs inside Google, what is called as the moonshot programs, right? The moonshot programs, they know very well, not every one of them is going to succeed. But I'm pretty sure, right, at least one of that will probably become huge. And that's what is going to give them that next push. Because all the other things, what they're doing is all incremental. So they bought YouTube, right? So they moved from search into the video, and they're generating more and more and more advertisement revenues. In the meantime, they acquired Nest, which is a very consumer-driven thing, and Nest is starting to penetrate now, right? And they came up with this Google Glass, which I don't know if you call it as a failure or not, but Google Glass, the way it was perceived is a failure, because even they didn't think that people wearing that and walking on the street will be viewed strangely by others, right? Because if I happen to see a guy who is wearing a Google Glass, I am kind of concerned whether he is videoing me or not, right? So think of, even the most brilliant people, they make mistakes on the market side, on the market adoption side. But interestingly, I have actually seen adoption of these Google Glasses from an application perspective. Think of your plumber who comes home, right, and he's fixing your refrigerator, or he's fixing some dishwasher or something. Now he's wearing this Google Glass, which is connected to the net, and the manual is popping up right on your screen. And as he is fixing, right, it's telling him the step-by-step instruction, which is otherwise very hard to have a book and look at what needs to be done, or you have to have complete experience of exactly how to fix that particular refrigerator or that particular dishwasher, which is impossible to have. So people need to have that manual. So the application is, I can be looking through this Google Glass, what the next step is, right? That's a very useful application. So applications like this are now popping up for the Google Glass. I'm not sure if that's going to generate billions of dollars of revenues, but there is a usefulness for that. So same way, the whole driverless cars, right? People talk about the driverless cars. Initially, everybody felt that's like a ridiculous kind of a concept. But as the applications are visualized more carefully, it actually makes a lot of sense. Think of, you go to San Francisco, apparently 35% of the cars that are wandering around San Francisco is looking for parking. 35% of the cars on San Francisco streets is basically cars that are looking for parking. So this can completely eliminate that. The driverless car can come, drop you off wherever you want, and then go and park in a far-off place. And then when you're ready, you call, and the car comes, picks you up. It makes a lot of sense. I don't know how feasible it is, but it makes a lot of sense, right?
What about Uber?
Uber is a brilliant concept. Uber, Airbnb. I think more than Airbnb, I think Uber is an absolutely brilliant concept. Absolutely brilliant concept. You know how popular that is in India now?
Yeah.
Uber, like Uber, by the way, India has Ola cabs. Ola, which is a locally venture capitalist funded company. So if you visit India next time, you should use either the Ola cabs or you should use Taxi for Sure. I have used the Taxi for Sure every time I go to India. Amazing, actually. Yeah, you just look up the application, So what that has made is revolutionized this whole taxi industry, which was stuck to a certain format. So what these guys have done is they have completely redefined. People who want to work for the hours that they want to work, they can work. When you don't want to work, you don't have to work. It can be a second job, it can be a third job. You just work for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and you can just go home. And the same reasons the drivers in India gave me. Same reasons. Yeah. So I think, these are all revolutionary kind of things, right? Which can change the way how we lead our lives. And very useful, very beneficial. Yes?
Sorry, just an announcement. ಊಟ ತಗೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ. But we can continue.
Questions?
All is no time restrictions. Is that all?
Last call for it.
So I just wanted to end. The question mark is you guys. So you as an entrepreneur can be that to make that next change. Okay? If 2 guys in Boston can redefine this whole content delivery network, which should have been dominated by a multi-billion-dollar communication industry, or Salesforce, or BlackBerry, right, which has created billions of dollars of market and completely new market, which should have been done by large companies. It was all done by few people, right? So what it matters is idea, the perseverance, right, and the dream to make that happen. And if someone like me can make it happen, I'm sure you can make that happen too. Thank you.